Wallace finds a strange thing in his locker before a game. His coach yells, he plays, then later spends the night with a cheerleader named Stacy, who wants him to take her to the NFL when he makes it.
I love you, Stacy.
Hank Wallace, the school's golden boy and star soccer player, is pushed by his dad to leave Hamburg. At prom, he lets Stacy dance with a nerd, and later he and Stacy end the night as prom king and queen, ending the night with sex in a storeroom. At one of his important games on the field, pressure overwhelms him as he notices the strange thing. He freezes, gets hit hard when his leg is caught by it, and wakes in a hospital with a broken leg, ending his soccer career. Life slows and Hank grows old. He helps at his dad's bar, works at a supermarket, then loses his father to a heart attack. He drinks, joins group therapy for alcoholics, and becomes a janitor at his old school. While gardening, he sees the strange thing again. This time, he isn't surprised.
Hello, my old friend.
Hank becomes a science teacher. In class, he lectures on bacteria ignored by students until Grace asks about the ick. He explains it. Stationary, growing, origin unknown. At first unnoticed, then impossible to miss, yet ignored since it caused no harm. The bell rings, students leave.
How's your mom?
Fine, Mr. Wallace.
At lunch, Grace talked about the ick, but friends dismissed her. Later, another teacher brings up the ick with Hank. From the back, students joke, flashing signs for him to sleep with her.
From the movie Armageddon, we have to take this problem seriously, not turn it into a meme.
Another teacher called Sophia talked about the ick with Hank. From the back, students snicker, holding up a sign telling him to sleep with her.
From the gods to cure our infernal global warming.
Grace tries to set up her friend with her crush, but the boy is too awkward, so she walks away frustrated. On the field, the coach drives his players through drills, while Hank lingers on the sidelines, staring at the ick as it continues to grow. Jaslyn turns to Grace, uneasy, and asks if it will ever do anything. Grace replies that the ick has been around for years. People just never paid attention until recently.
What it's doing here. What's anything doing here? This town sucks.
Later, Grace argues with her boyfriend about college. He pressures her to accept her offer, but she refuses, angry that she was only put on the wait list.
I'm not going.
Hey, what, you're gonna get off the wait list?
Meanwhile, at the bar, Hank discusses a deal with Ted, the nerd from high school who married Stacy, Hank's former girlfriend. They are raising Grace.
Honey, Hank's smarter than he looks.
Thanks.
Grace asks Hank if people have been drinking from the ick. He answers that it's possible. Ted brings up how Grace has been down since the Ivy League rejection. When Stacy casually mentions that Grace is a Capricorn, Hank freezes. The thought creeps in. Grace might be his daughter. Quietly, he decides to confirm it by taking saliva samples from his student's science project for a secret paternity test. At home, Ted rambles about his car, ignored by both Stacy and Grace. Tension grows, leading to another fight between Ted and Stacy. Grace pleads with them to pay attention to the ick, but they brush her off, dismissing her fears. At home, Hank discovers a large ick sitting in his living room. Disturbed, he throws it out, but keeps a small piece to study. He learns it grows whenever the lights are turned off. The discovery rattles him, and he escapes into nostalgia, listening to the old playlists he once made for Stacy back in high school. Soon the news breaks. People are licking the ick for viral videos, treating it like a joke instead of a threat. Hank grows uneasy. He tries offering Grace a recommendation to help with her college waitlist, but she refuses, assuming it's another ploy by her parents. Her boyfriend Dylan confronts Hank, warning him that he's too old for her.
Yeah, dude, you're old.
At school, Hank shares a casual conversation with Sophia, the Spanish teacher. But when he said an inappropriate phrase he picked up from someone else, she slaps him and storms away. Later that night at the bar, a strange man enters asking for whiskey. Hank serves him glass after glass, noticing the man's sickly appearance. Before Hank can call for help, the man vomits violently. An eruption of ick bursts from his mouth and swallows Hank's cat whole. Horrified, Hank fights back as the man lunges at him, his body producing more ick. In desperation, Hank shines a light. The growth bursts into flame, screeching, before fleeing the bar into the night. Grace spends the night partying with her friends. Back at the bar, police arrive to question Hank, but he notices something off. They carry the same strange injuries as the infected man. Instead of arresting him, they act like rowdy teens, insisting he party with them. Hank refuses, but they drag him toward their car. Inside, he sees Sophia, the Spanish teacher, infected like the others. Ick spills from her mouth. Hank smashes a window, escapes, and runs for his car. Meanwhile, Grace voices her worries about the ick to her boyfriend, but he brushes her off. At the same time, Hank calls Grace, warning her to leave the party. He tells her that if he doesn't make it, she should know he might be her father, but he dialed the wrong number, which was his old one-night stand.
One time and me, you ain't nobody's daddy, okay?
The cops chase him. Hank's car is trapped by a massive ick growth on the road, but he breaks free. On his escape route, he encounters an infected cow. He dodges it, but the police crash straight into the animal, killing it. Hank bursts into the party, urging everyone to get out. He warns that the ick is spreading, infecting people, turning them into something close to zombies. The crowd laughs him off. He finds Grace, pleading with her to come with him. Her boyfriend cuts him down, accusing him of chasing the daughter after losing the mother. Hank tries one last time, but Grace refuses. Broken, he leaves.
Get lost, loser.
Dylan pressures Grace into sex, but she refuses. He turns to her friend Jaslyn instead, and they hook up while outside. The ick begins spreading around the house.
You nasty.
In the bathroom, a teacher experiences flickering lights. A chunk of ick drops onto his face. When he looks up, a massive growth devours him whole. Nearby, another student is dragged under in the pool by an ick, and chaos erupts. Students are attacked and consumed, the party turning into a massacre. Jaslyn transforms into an ick zombie mid-makeout with Dylan. Grace wakes in a room to find an ick clinging to the ceiling above the bed. It lunges, but she shields herself under the blanket. Hank arrives just in time to pull her to safety as the room fills with spreading growth. Just when it seems hopeless, light pierces through the window, halting the attack. The federal ick response team arrives, corralling survivors into a town store. They order everyone to stay put, admitting resources are limited. But the residents are more concerned about prom the next day. They defy orders and leave, treating the threat lightly. Hank informs a federal officer that UV light burns the ick. She relays the discovery to the president, who praises Hank as Nobel-worthy, only for her to later learn from the King of Sweden that this fact was known from the
We
beginning.
know about the UV light, dipshit. It's a goddamn plant.
Fake news circulates online claiming that eating ick enhances male sexual performance. Despite the town being swallowed by growth, most residents remain indifferent.
The ick boosts all of our immune systems by releasing positive gut probiotics.
Hank attends group therapy, only to find the leader infected. The ick spreads through the group, forcing Hank to flee.
No thanks.
Later, Dylan drives Grace around at night, again trying to force himself on her. She rejects him, mocks his condition, and sprays him with pepper spray when he presses further. Hank appears just in time, pulling Grace away to safety.
Grace! I'm sorry! Okay?
Hank warns Grace that Dylan might be infected. She misunderstands, assuming he means an STD. Before he can explain, Ick crawls into the car engine, forcing it off the road and into a crash. Grace texts her cousin, who drives a tow truck, to come help. Hungry, she asks for food but refuses the half-eaten steak sandwich Hank offers. While searching the car, she finds paternity test papers. Suspicious, she asks if he got someone pregnant as a teen. Then she notices a photo of her mom and him tucked into his visor. Their argument is cut short as the Ick flips the wrecked car upright. Hank admits he only just learned she might be his daughter. He insists he isn't sure, her mom had other partners, and suggests she just think of him as the cool uncle. Grace refuses, angry at the idea of him being her father.
You can't be Disney Dad, Mr. Wallace.
He tries to encourage her about college, telling her fears shouldn't hold her back. She snaps back that he can't walk into her life now and try to play dad.
Are you kidding me, young lady?
Shut up, Jack. Mr. Wallace.
The Ick begins forcing its way inside. Grace fights back, torching it with a lighter and fire extinguisher until her cousin arrives to haul them away. At the bar, Hank sees an apparition of his dead father. His father claims the Ick consumed him and that its mission is to save the world through contradiction and confusion. When his father extends a hand, Hank sets the bar ablaze and walks away. Meanwhile, Grace meets Dylan. He apologizes for his behavior, but when she raises her fear about the Ick, he dismisses it, saying everyone is attacked eventually.
Babe, they attacked everyone.
Hank meets Stacy on the soccer field to talk about college. He finally asks if Grace is his daughter and pleads for the truth. Before she can answer, the Ick erupts from the field and swallows her whole.
No, actually.
Crushed, Hank tries to end it all by jumping off a cliff, but lands in an anti-self-harm net that saves him. Grace goes to prom with Dylan. While dancing, she encourages her friend Heather to ask out Griffin, the boy she likes. Dylan tells Grace he is not going to college and that he wants to stay in town with her. Grace and Dylan are crowned prom king and queen. Meanwhile, Hank arms himself with UV lights and heads to the school. Outside, he finds Ted waiting for the kids. Hank warns him the Ick is coming, but Ted replies it is already here. Hank asks him to get his daughter to safety. Ted asks if Hank has a daughter. Hank answers maybe. The Ick seeps into Ted's car, but Hank cannot save him because the windows are UV protected. Inside, Dylan tries to pressure Grace into following prom tradition in the storeroom. The Ick sweeps across the school, killing students. Grace resists Dylan, and just as he forces her, Hank bursts in and tells her Dylan has the Ick. They discover Dylan already infested, his body twisted and hostile. Together, Hank and Grace fought him off and destroyed him. Hank tells Grace what happened to her parents. Meanwhile, Heather and Griffin hide in a classroom but flee when the Ick bursts in, joining Hank and Grace. Hank shares his plan to use UV radiation from the field lights.
You could have just opened it. I mean, that was super dramatic.
They run to the control room. Grace hugs Hank and begs him not to die. He charges onto the field while the others work on the wires. A massive Ick rises from the ground. Hank manages to throw a ball and trigger the lights, freezing the growth across the field. Rejoining the survivors, he leads them towards safety, but the Ick tears down the UV poles. Hank tells them to run to higher ground. They climb a pole, but many fall, consumed by the Ick. Only Hank, Grace, Heather, and Griffin reach the top, where sunlight finally touches them. The Ick freezes in the rays, but hope fades as clouds cover the sky. They cling to one another. Hank tells Grace he is proud of her, whether or not she is his daughter. Just as the Ick closes in, the clouds part. Sunlight returns, freezing the Ick and freeing them.
Sorry.
Afterward, Hank starts a new job while Grace prepares to leave for college. They reflect on their bond, deciding that maybe not knowing the truth is better. A mailman arrives with the paternity test results. They open the envelope together and are both shocked by what they see.